Pre-orders for Apple's latest product, the Apple Vision Pro, start today, January 19th, and it will be fully released to the public in 2 weeks on February 2nd. Here's everything you need to know about it so that you're ready for the launch. Firstly, what does this device even do? Well, in Apple's own words, the purpose of the Vision Pro is to blend digital content with your physical space. Think of it kind of like a VR headset, which you can choose to experience in full immersion like a normal VR headset, or in augmented reality, AR, which uses cameras to give you a live feed of the space that you're in, but add digital content to it. And this is all possible thanks to Apple's newest software, which is called Vision OS. This is Apple's first spatial computing system, and according to them, it was built on the foundation of all of their existing softwares like macOS, iOS, and iPadOS. This system does not have any controls or remotes other than the headset itself, so everything will be controlled on the Vision Pro using your eyes, hands, and voice. Selecting something, for example, is supposed to be as simple as just looking at it and then tapping your fingers together to select it. This is very similar to the gesture that already exists on Apple Watch. With the Apple Watch, the way it detects it is using blood flow changes that happen when you do the tap. With the Vision Pro, it actually continually monitors your hands using the external cameras that are on the headset so that it can detect when you tap your fingers together visually. As far as other gestures go, you're supposed to be able to flick your finger to scroll, use a virtual keyboard to type, which seems like it's just kind of hunt and peck because you have to look at each individual key, or just look at a microphone button to enable dictation so that you can type things with your voice. Otherwise, you can accomplish all of these same tasks using Siri, so voice is not restricted to just dictation. Now, you might be thinking that augmented reality, virtual reality, and even smart glasses already exist. These technologies have been around for many, many years at this point. And that's certainly true, but the difference with the Vision Pro is that this is going to be Apple's take on these technologies, and it most certainly is the first time they've done this. With pretty much all new technologies, Apple has a track record of showing that they are not the first to jump in and adapt them immediately. They usually take their time, which can be quite a few years, to test, adapt, and then implement these new technologies into their ecosystem. So even though they aren't first on the scene, because of the time that they take to implement these new technologies, their finished product is usually a lot more high quality and polished than the competitors, which is why I'm very excited about the Vision Pro. That all being said, here's some of the most unique features that the Vision Pro offers that really stood out to me. The first one is called Eyesight, which is a feature that makes it a little bit easier to use the Vision Pro if you're in a space that has other people in it. Because while you're using it, if you're fully immersed and cannot see out, if the cameras detect that someone's approaching, it'll simultaneously show you what's in front of you and reveal your eyes to that person. And I find this pretty interesting because the front of the Vision Pro is not transparent, so you can't actually see through it to see the wearer's eyes. What it does is it uses an external outward-facing screen on the outside of the Vision Pro, and then uses internal cameras on the inside to project your eyes to the screen on the outside. And I think this is the reason why the eyes on the outside just seem a little bit off-putting in any of the marketing material Apple has released so far, because you're not actually looking at someone's eyes, you're looking at a screen which is giving you a live feed of their eyes. Either way though, I do think this is a nice feature because it gives you a much more natural way to interact with people while you're using the headset and without having to take the headset off. Now with the Vision Pro, Apple is also going to be releasing some all-new immersive videos, which are basically videos that are meant to transport you somewhere else. They're 180 degrees, they're 3D and 8K resolution. And that brings me to another point, which is that the resolution on the Vision Pro is extremely high. It actually has more pixels per eye than a 4K TV. So for each eye, you have a custom OLED display that has 23 million pixels each, which is what's allowing things like an 8K video. There are also some other cool 3D features with the Vision Pro, like bringing 3D objects into your space, basically meaning that you can pull an object out of an app and place it in your space, so you can have a real idea of what it looks like, how big it is, and walk all around it to see it all in person. Plus, you have all sorts of new features using the apps on the Vision Pro as well. So firstly, you do have apps that can fully expand around you, that'll fully encapsulate you visually and auditorially. Otherwise, you can treat the Vision Pro like your own personal theater too, by increasing the screen size and having spatial audio enabled so that you can be fully immersed in a movie or show. Vision Pro even has games built into it as well, using Apple Arcade. It's actually going to release with over 100 iPad games, which you can play using the Vision Pro or connect a Bluetooth gaming controller. Now, outside of apps, another feature that I love is the Mac Virtual Display, which basically means that you can bring your Mac into your Vision Pro and use them simultaneously. So not only are you going to be able to use and type on your actual Mac itself, but you can add virtual screens to your space so that you can look all around you and have screens wherever you need them. What's really cool is that using the 3D tracking, these screens will stay in place. So even if you move your head or walk around, they're gonna stay exactly where you put them, and you can scale them to whatever size you want as well. So basically, using your Vision Pro, you can take one Mac and convert it into a multiple screen setup that's as big or as small as you want it to be. Vision Pro is also Apple's first 3D camera, and this seems to be a very unique feature because it basically allows you to go back and watch pictures or videos in a more three-dimensional way. So while you're wearing the Vision Pro, you can record or take videos to capture these moments and then go back and relive them in a three-dimensional space. You can also pair it with the iPhone 15 Pro, which is also going to be able to take these spatial videos so that you can go back and watch and relive your memories in a much more immersive way than ever before possible. As far as audio goes, you have dual driver audio pods around each one of your ears so that you have spatial audio where you can basically hear all around you. And the Vision Pro uses something called audio ray tracing so that it can basically get a map of your room and the acoustics in it to give you the most realistic and immersive sound for the space that you're in. And if you want something that's even better, you can also use headphones using the Vision Pro and connect it with something like your AirPods Pro. Lastly, all of these features are going to be accessible once you unlock the Vision Pro using a new feature called Optic ID. This is basically just the next evolution of Touch ID or Face ID because it scans and detects your iris so that you can unlock and use your Vision Pro using your eye. And there are even more features to the Vision Pro, but these are the ones that seem the most unique to me that I'm most excited for. Now let's talk about the design and what you should expect when you're actually hands-on with the Vision Pro. The first thing you'll probably notice when you look at the Vision Pro is the very front of it, there is a three-dimensional laminated piece of glass that wraps all the way around the front. It is a single piece of glass, and behind that glass is where it's going to be housing all of the cameras and sensors that face externally. Once the glass ends, you'll find an aluminum alloy frame, which is going to be what actually wraps around your face. Now, attached magnetically to that aluminum alloy frame is the light seal, which is basically just the padding or cushioning that goes against your eyes and face to create a nice seal so that no light is coming in while you're using it. Now, on the back of the Vision Pro, you have a headband, and it actually comes with two. Now, the main headband is the Solo Knit Band, which is three-dimensionally knitted with a unique rib structure, which allows it to be flexible and stretch as you're putting it on. That knitting and flexibility does also allow it to be very breathable and comfortable as you're wearing it. Otherwise, the Vision Pro does also come with a second headband called the Dual Loop Band. This one is a lot more adjustable to make sure that it fits very well because it has upper and lower bands that you can adjust to make sure everything fits snug. Now, although it may not look like it, the Vision Pro is not 100% wireless because you do have to carry around a power bank when you're using it. This battery pack is connected to the Vision Pro with a nice woven cable, and it's just long enough to easily slip into your pocket or have it far enough away if you're sitting down where it's not in the way. The external battery is said to give 2 hours of general use with the Vision Pro and 2.5 hours of video playback. Another nice feature that Apple added is you do have the ability to add prescription lenses into the Vision Pro, so if you use glasses, you don't have to worry. You can still use the Vision Pro with these magnetically attached lenses. The design of the Vision Pro is not only appealing visually, but it does seem to be very functional and very well thought out to allow for maximum comfort and portability. So this is Apple's first take on a brand new technology for them. It has very unique features, a nice and high quality design, and an amazing looking software that has all sorts of unique ways to use it. So what's the catch? Well, for starters, this has a base price of $3,500 with only 256 gigabytes of storage. As to whether or not that's enough storage on a base model is hard to say, but a starting price of $3,500 means this is not going to be affordable for many people. But if you are lucky enough to afford it, one other thing to consider is that this is a first generation product. The fact that this has not been put to the test by the public yet, no matter how much testing Apple has done behind closed doors, does mean inevitably that you're going to have more bugs and more kinks to iron out before this is a fully streamlined device to use. And that's not to say that the launch isn't going to go great or that it's not going to be easy to use at first. That's just kind of a natural consequence of first generation products, is that they aren't really put to the test until the public has it in their hands. That all being said, do you plan on getting the Vision Pro?